Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Welcome to the sixth D-Link webinar. I believe it's number 6 now. And today we're going to be talking about smart homes. I'm here with Craig Kirby, as always.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
We don't have any sales representation today. We're not selling anything. We're just here to We're just here to inform and enrich the knowledge of the masses. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about smart home, and we're going to be talking about the D-Link products that would fit into your smart home range. As we all know, smart homes gotten bigger and bigger over the past few years.
Right.
And you can go on Amazon now, and you can browse range of thousands of brands on there. And with D-Link, we know we're not the cheapest in the marketplace, but we're here to talk today about the quality, the range, and also what sets us aside from the £10 smart plug kind of competitors with our app.
That's right. I mean, like you say, Alan, there's quite a few out there at the moment, but the problem that you actually get when it comes to setup, configuration, and hardware as well.
Don't go there.
There's a lot of pitfalls that you can fall into. So it is worth having a look at what's out there and buying a good brand, a brand that you know is going to be developed, not just on the hardware side of things, but on the software as well. Especially when it comes to working with applications and things like that. Because what you'll generally find is that there are some brands out there, they might release a product, but then if they don't update the phone or they don't configure it properly, and the app just falls apart.
Well, I can attest to how easy the stuff is to start. The QR code comes in every box, and we did a PR show recently, and scanned the PR code. Run through the system on the app, set up within a couple of minutes, unless there's a firmware update. You see it on the Apple TV adverts, only sequence shortened. Unless there's a firmware update, it can take a little while for the firmware to update. But we whizzed through the show setup in a manner of minutes, and I also set off the water sensor accidentally, which scared a few people at the show. But that's an aside there.
Nice.
As always, please feel free to ask us any questions. Questions will appear in the sidebar, and we'll get to them in the last 5 minutes of the webinar. As always, feel free to ask anything you like. Craig is a font of all knowledge. So, and anything he doesn't know, well, it hasn't happened yet, but we'll come back to you and get you an answer in due course. Okay. So, moving swiftly on. To start with, the basis of every smart home has to be good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it does.
Because there's no point in buying smart plugs for every room, and your upstairs attic, and your internet doesn't get anywhere near it. So the basis of every smart home is a good network. We've got a couple of opportunities here, and the way that we like to talk about it is we have the wireless mesh product, which is our cover range, which we would recommend for medium houses, large houses, Craig, would you say?
It might be it's not even that really. It's going to be really where you need additional coverage.
Right, okay.
So getting to those really hard to reach areas, that's where it's going to be best.
Okay.
Then we have our, sorry to take over, Aaron, but the cover 2202s. And these ones are for when you have lots and lots of devices, or maybe lots of users in the area as well. And the reason for that is because they're a tri-band device. Now, what you get with a tri-band device means that you have 3 different separate broadcasts. So you have a 2.4, you have a 5 gigahertz, and then you have an additional 5 gigahertz.
2 5s.
Yeah.
Like it.
So if you've got lots of devices or lots of people with lots of devices, what you can generally find is that you start splitting them up onto different frequencies, you keep them away from each other, you get better speeds, better broadcasts.
And we'll talk a bit about guest networks later. So you can save all of those lovely 5 gigahertz connections for yourself and give all of your guests the 2.4. So what we'd say for the for maybe a smaller domicile, or maybe a gamer more, because the routers, the AC speed on the higher end of the routers is higher than the cover overall, isn't it? Especially the DIR 3060.
Yeah, the 3630 is really for users that want a premium Wi-Fi, but also they want a router that's going to protect them. Now, the thing with these EXO routers is that they're specifically designed for today's environment, where we've got so many devices that need connectivity. Not just the amount of devices, but you need that security that comes with it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So whereas before you would just have a router and you'd be able to plug anything into it and that's it. From that perspective, the device is connected to the internet and it's basically a free-for-all. With these EXO routers, you've got additional security features so that you can find out what devices are connecting to your network, how they're connecting, when they're connecting, which is really important because the more devices that we look at a smart home, the more we actually want to put onto the web and to be accessible to us as well. So it's really quite essential.
Yeah, and the 3060 6 antennas, the DIR 1960, which is the entry, only has 4, but you'll still find that the DIR 1960 will cover an average flat or a small house.
I mean, it's the amount of speeds difference that you get from this,
sure,
more so than the broadcast range itself.
Yeah, the extra antennas give it a little bit of a boost, but not that much.
Yeah, I mean, what the nice thing is that you can actually angle the antennas.
Yes, I do. I point all mine because mine's at one end of the house and the bedroom's at the other end, so they're all pointing in that direction to direct the speed.
There's a big benefit of having these external antennas. It's not just to make it look like a spaceship.
or a spider. Okay, so now you've got your network sorted out. But the next part is protection.
Well, absolutely. So what I said before about security, what we've done is we've partnered up with McAfee for these ones. And what that means is that you've got this additional layer of protection when it comes to going to sites. So it'll actually detect what sites out there are blacklisted as malware, that sort of thing.
And there's so many now, isn't
Absolutely.
there?
I mean, most of us, I would think, where we've been searching the internet for whatever shopping that we need, and we're clicking through all these different sites. At some point, there's a pop-up or something that redirects you. So easy to do, so easy to click. An email that you've misclicked or something like that, and now all of a sudden you're going to this site which is trying to strip information from you. And that's the reason why you need protection at that level as well.
Yeah, and we come with the EXO routers. This is for it's 5 years of the protection, and I think it's worth about £80 at a market value.
Yeah.
So,
and the nice thing is that they also comes with a 2-year antivirus protection for all of the devices on your network.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
bonus,
So, big bonus for that.
bonus. Yeah. So speed and protection. That's what we like. Okay. So now you've got your network sorted, you're all safe with your virus protection for at least 5 years. It's time to make your home smarter.
Yeah. So, what do we really mean by smart home?
I don't know. You tell me.
So, the idea of a smart home is that we want to take away the manual operation of things, and we want things to work automatically when we need them, and we want to do that from multiple various locations.
Yep.
Me and Anne have been talking about this throughout the last week or so as we've been designing this, and it's actually quite surprising how similar we are in what we do,
we use,
or at least what we purchase, yet we use it for completely different things.
Indeed.
I live in a one-bedroom apartment with my wife. Not very big, but I do have problems with Wi-Fi sometimes, and that's because all of the insulation that's on these newer builds are completely aluminium based, right?
At least you're warm.
Yeah, exactly. So what we also have is just everything's electric. Don't have a gas at all in my apartment.
No.
Induction cooker and everything. So what we do is we have our heating, and our heating is all electric. There's no gas, there's no central heating like that. But so we use these smart plugs. Now it's brilliant because she's got an Alexa. We tied the Alexa up with our smart plugs. Now what we do is we're running around with our heating. So our heating now is something that we can just talk about. So we're sitting there, we're watching TV, and you just say, Alexa, turn on the heating. Click, and off it goes. You can hear it clicking as well.
Yes,
Perfect,
yeah.
right?
When you turn the lamp on,
Exactly, really nice.
Yeah.
So I've been using the smart plug for a little while.
Yeah.
These new smart plugs are very handy because where I've plugged them into a double socket at my house, I could have my smart plug, and I could have an additional device. I think it's a lamp or something. Just generally, we keep things for plugging in phones and stuff. However, I couldn't put two of them on the older design. And this is where the newer design comes in. So they're smaller form factor. They look a lot nicer, but the most important thing is you can now have two smart plugs in there as well.
Yes.
So you can plug in your heater, like I do, and now you can plug in an additional device like a lamp. Perfect for when you go on holiday as well, right? You go on holiday, you have a lamp, you want it to turn on and off automatically.
And you've got two choices of how you can do that, which we'll touch on as we go. I mean, to bring in like analogies, I think if let's say for instance the Wi-Fi is the heart of the smart home. This is probably the brains, and then if we move into the camera, that's probably the eyes, and then we move on to the water sensor, which is, I don't know, the mouth, maybe. I don't know. We'll think of something as we go through. But this is definitely the brains of the system, because this is what allows everything to work. So we'll go into that a little bit more. The bits that Craig was touching on there. One of the best points about this is scheduling and automating. And we've used a couple of examples here, which are again both what me and Craig would use it for. And we discussed about the coffee maker, and I came up with my much more dangerous example of leaving bacon on the George Foreman grill, which could lead to an accident. But I mean, Craig, you use this for your heating. I have gas. But I remember you saying that you schedule this to turn on.
I do, yes.
Via the My D-Link app.
Yeah, I do. So obviously you want something a bit flexible, because as winter's coming around now, we started turning them on probably. It's only a couple of weeks ago, actually, that we started using our heating again.
Yeah.
But what we do is, it's nice to wake up to a warm room. And it's nice to go into the living room and be warm there as well, right? It's chilly.
It's the worst bit is getting out the shower.
Yes.
And it's cold. That's the worst part.
So we generally wake up sort of 6 o'clock, 6:15, and I turn it on for about 5:45. So when I wake up, it's already nice and toasty, and I can automatically schedule it off to go on. I think it goes off about 7ish. So by the time we've had our showers and everything, we're up and running. And then when I go into the living room, if it's really cold still, and I want it to override, I say, Alexa, turn on the heating. Click, on it goes again.
It's fantastic. And for myself, the main cause for mine is the lamp in the living room, which we kind of touched on as well, because I have to leave my dog at home during the day, and I can set up a schedule for the lamp to come on at the same time every day, or I can use the option on the next slide, which is what I generally do, because as with a lamp, you want it to come on when it gets dark, versus with your heating, you want it to come on at pretty much the same time, because you probably get home from work at a similar time every day. So if we move on to the next slide now, the remote control of an appliance. So what I do is, when I leave work now, because the clocks have gone back, log into the My D-Link app, and then I turn the lamp on so that my dog doesn't have to sit there in the dark. And I could set that up as a schedule, but it gets dark at different times, and I'm a bit of a miser when it comes to saving electricity. I'm a little bit green when it comes to that. So,
well, it's good. It's a good thing to have. It's a good. I do very similar, actually, but we'll touch on that on the next couple of slides.
Yeah. So, Craig's touched a little bit on the.
Yes, I mentioned
Google.
I mentioned Alexa a lot, but it's Google compatible as well. So
yes,
other brands are available.
We have to be careful to not favour one brand over the other. I have a Google Home. I know a lot of people have Alexas, but they're both great at their job. And no matter how much you try and get your Google Home to say bad things about Alexa, it never will.
Get them talking to each other.
Yeah.
So we mentioned about the EXO routers earlier on. We do have some voice commands that are available on the EXO routers.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, really handy, especially when you have guests around. Because what will generally happen is someone will come in. You don't have to keep your guest Wi-Fi on. So it's another additional layer of security. And when a guest comes around, because it recognizes your voice, you just say, okay, Google, turn on my guest Wi-Fi. That's it. Guest Wi-Fi comes on. Okay, Google, tell me the credentials of my guest Wi-Fi. And it'll tell you the credentials for it.
Well, when you ostensibly create, would you have to set up a password on your guest Wi-Fi, or could somebody just log on?
Well, you have a password, but rather than it's so annoying sometimes when someone goes, "Oh, what's the Wi-Fi password?" and you go, "Oh, you might just give me your phone, I'll tap it in." Yeah, you just tell Alexa to do it for you.
You get a separate password for your guest, and that could be password 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's up to you what you set. I wouldn't recommend that password. But,
no, it's your guest network. No one's going. It's going to be fine. You just turn it off when they go.
Absolutely. So. As long as you turn it off.
Keep it simple. Okay. So now we're going to move into the eyes, as I've already described them. This is our 2802 Pro MyD-Link wire-free camera kit, and it's a particular favourite of ours because it's either for use indoors or outdoors.
It is outdoor as well. I use these ones in my home. I have 2 of them at the moment.
Cool.
Probably looking for a 3rd actually. And what I generally use them for again is with the schedules in the morning. So coming to work, I probably leave about 8 o'clock, 10 past 8 on a bad day. Depending on the missus. So what I did is I actually schedule the cameras to turn on about 8:15.
Perfect.
Now, it's really important to have a schedule for this sort of thing, especially if you're going away, because it's so easy to forget to arm them sometimes.
Yes.
Right? Now, most of the times when someone breaks into your house, you can have all the footage there. A lot of people forget to do it properly. They forget to arm the device and it's gone.
Set the schedules,
Didn't capture anything, wasn't recorded or anything like that. So having that schedule there gives you a little bit of peace of mind as well, especially if you're forgetful like I am. But it also gives you that fundamental fact that it's going to be there to record whatever happens when you need to.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about the cloud recordings a little bit later on.
Absolutely, yeah. Weatherproof design, like I say, it goes indoor and outdoor as well.
Yep.
Magnetic, so what it is you can screw in the magnetic clasp that comes with it in the box. There's 2 different types of brackets.
As we put, no trees were harmed during the mounting of this camera.
Yeah, and then you clip the actual device. Now, the nice thing about these cameras is they will last 4 months, depending on how you use them. I use them indoors. There's no movement indoors. I don't have any pets or anything. Well, yeah, touch wood. There's no movement indoors or anything. They will last for months. And that's the best way of using them, I think.
Yeah.
If you do put them outdoors, you do have to be considerate about where you put them and the sensitivity that you place them at as well. For example, put them outdoors at 100% looking at a tree. Guess what? It's going to capture movement all the time, right?
Yeah.
However, you kind of aim it down at your porch, maybe reduce the sensitivity. It's going to capture whoever comes in and enters your building.
Sure.
So,
and every time the cameras pick up something, you get an alarm. Yeah.
Absolutely, you get a push notification. It tells you movement detected as well.
And the sensitivity is a big thing with these because the more movement they detect, the slower. The less battery life you'll have. So it's important to get that sensitivity kind of right.
That's right.
Indoors, it's not such an issue, but outdoors, like you said, if you have the sensitivity high, it'll be picking up birds that are 20 miles away. That's one of the the problems with the full 1080p display, isn't it? It's picking up minute details far, far away. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Now, another nice benefit of doing your camera, and we're going to touch into it a little later, is that if it does detect a movement, it'll take a screenshot. And on that push notification, you'll actually see a picture when you swipe down. You'll see a picture of what it's taken.
Yeah.
As well as long as the recording, but it's a nice thing because it's not just for detecting criminals and things like that. Sometimes it's nice to know that the person you love has got home okay.
Yeah. Or you want to keep an eye on your dog when you're at work, like I do.
Yeah.
Little scamp. Yeah. This is the camera that we took to the PR show. We had all of our new range of products on all of our smart home stuff, and everybody came over to ask about this camera.
Yeah.
He's a funky looking chap. We often compare him to a copyrighted member of the Star Wars cast, so we won't mention his name. He's also been called around the team as the Penguin Cam because of his shape and colour. I think he just needed a little bit of orange on him, and then he would have been perfect. This is the 8515 LH HD pan and tilt camera.
Yes.
That was a bit of a mouthful, but got that sorted. And what this does is this camera will track movement around the house.
So especially great if you do have a larger living room. You don't have to cover it from every side kind of angle. You just have one device that you can plug in, and it will actually move depending on. So you can point at a window, you can point at a door, and it will cover everything when it tracks. So yeah, very, very handy for this.
I think it's a 340 degree coverage. And also, it makes a little whirring noise when it turns, a very, very slight one. And my dog always goes up when it goes and starts to sniff it. So I get a lot of shots of close up of my dog's nose on the camera. It just makes this little whirring noise. As we mentioned, according to the SD card or the cloud. And also we, on the previous camera and this one, like with most of our range, they do have two-way microphones.
They do.
So you can use that for fun purposes, or you can use it for serious purposes. You can scare your wife, or you can...
Oh, yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah, that's for the indoor ones. Certainly do like to give her a scare, especially if she's forgotten something and walked back indoors. But really what you would generally use it for is outdoors. So you'd have one on your porch, for example, and someone comes in, you don't know who they are, maybe, you look a bit weird. What do you want? Just, what do you want? What are you after? And that person is obviously... You might not be in the house. You might be looking at that person to detect an emotion. Maybe it's a delivery guy. You can give them instructions over the phone. You just say, put the parcel around the back, or leave it with my neighbour, or something like that. You know?
Excellent. Very useful. Right. On a bit more of a, I think it's safe to say that this is a bit more of a niche product. I think people need to know about this product. There's not people out there clamoring for a water sensor, but once they hear about it, they think, now that's a good idea.
It's generally someone who's going to buy this is someone who's already had an accident.
Hands up, yes, yeah, myself, yeah.
Yeah, it only takes that one time. So if you're looking at the brand of D-Link as a brand and you've got cameras already or something like that, it's a very easy addition to put into it, and it really will give you that little bit of peace of mind as well.
Yeah. So this is the water sensor. If that wasn't clear, one of the beauties of it is that it's battery powered, so you can put it anywhere. A lot of people ask about putting one of these behind the bath panel to detect leaks underneath the bath. That is what it can be used for. On an average use, the battery will last about 1.5 years, which is pretty good. But you would have to take your bath panel off to replace the battery. Right. But you do get 1.5 years of peace of mind on that. Most people, I think, would use it as shown on here with a washing machine or potentially a dishwasher.
Yeah. I think dishwasher is probably going to be a little bit more problematic for a lot of people, especially with the leaks out back.
Well, yeah, I mean, we discussed this as well, didn't we? My dishwasher takes 3.5 hours on eco mode. So when I'm doing my washing, I'm generally at home. But when I do my dishwasher, I'm not going to sit there for 3.5 hours waiting for the cycle to finish. So the dishwasher is more likely to be on when I'm out. But luckily for me, they're quite close together. So one of these would suffice for me. Ostensibly, you mount the device on the wall on the side of the washing machine, and it's got a 6-foot-long cable that you dangle down onto the floor. And when the 2 electrodes detect water, it sets off an alarm, which is 90 decibel, which is the same as being 25 foot away from a revving motorcycle. That's gonna catch your attention. And it will also, if you're out, it will also send you a push notification, as we did previously. So quite a handy and nifty little device there. Especially with for those people who want to watch those home insurance premiums.
Some people have their washing machines outside in a shed as well, so you can't always be out there all the time. Or it gives you a little notification that there's something going wrong. Gives you a chance to get out there before everything floods.
A lot of places have like a separate little laundry room, don't they? A lot of the new build places, like off of a bathroom or something in there.
Especially if you're a landlord as well. Somebody's doing a lot of washing.
Indeed, yeah. So your landlord could set one up, and right. So now we're gonna talk a little bit more about the app, My D-Link app, free to download on the Apple Store or Google Play. Google Play, yeah. We'll work on all major brands of mobile phone.
That's right.
If you've still got a BlackBerry or something from the Stone Ages, you might have a bit of a problem. But the app will work with 99% of phones out there. Just the full range of D-Link products on the screen there. You've got all of our cameras. These are all the ones that are compatible with the cloud recording.
Yeah, so all the cameras you see here are cloud recordable. Now, just to be clear, My D-Link is a platform. It's not just an app.
Okay.
And what that means is that it's a cloud-based platform that your cameras and all of your devices are able to connect to, so that you can connect to them remotely. That's really what the My D-Link platform is.
Yeah.
The app is used to control your devices and do all the reporting for you, because everybody walks around with their phones in their pockets most of the time. It makes sense that if you're going to get any notifications, you might as well do it on the phone.
Yeah,
and that's why we built the app for that specific purpose. So we've already gone through the plug and the smart plug. We do have some other cameras in our range, so there are some additional ones that do 720p, 1080p, indoor, outdoor, tilt, pan. We've got a little bit of everything for everyone. But the important thing is that they all work with the same app. It's not one app for cameras, one app for everything else.
One app for
exactly.
It's all in the same.
And the main thing that we get from that is the power to sort of chop and change and make them work together to fit a goal.
Change everything in the one place rather than having to go to separate places. So you can go in, turn on your smart plug and check your camera at the same time. You don't have to come out, go into a different app, and that's the beauty of having the whole thing within one. So this is what the app looks like on the right hand side there, and you can see there that they've got a camera kit set up.
So that's in the device's settings. So on the initial screen, what you'll see is perhaps the cameras that you've already got set up. You can customize the dashboard, so you can say what camera shows where or what one shows first.
Yep.
So it's nice and quick, easy reporting. And then when you go through features, you're able to see more information about the devices that you've added to your network.
And the more devices you have, the more these circles will be occupied, and you can just scroll around.
Just flip it around. You just swipe your finger and you go to the next one. Absolutely.
No problemo. All seems quite simple and straightforward, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's designed to be that way, because you can't have so many devices and then have just a pig-eared way of developing and changing them, right? So the whole idea is that we've gone in with smart house, and you build it in such a way that it's actually going to be something you can use and want to use, rather than just put you off.
Indeed. As we mentioned, there's more products that work with the My D-Link app than what we showed previously, aren't there? But the products that we're talking about today are the My D-Link cloud recording.
That's right. So we have some legacy products that we've developed for the app as well, but those products might not necessarily be able to cloud record, but you can still view them through the app. So if you were using an old app like the My D-Link Home, which I believe it was called, there's a very good chance that you'll be able to update the firmware and get that running on the new app.
And the new app is...
The new app is far superior.
It's far superior. So like something like, was it the 936L? I remember is an older camera. You can probably use that with the new app and take advantage of all the new features, which is great.
You still use motion detection and everything on there as well.
Yeah. So with all the new cameras and products that we showed previously, we do have the My D-Link cloud recording service. Now, You get, correct me if I'm wrong here, Craig, but you get a year's free subscription when you sign up.
It's all free. We have a free platform.
Okay, yeah, we have a free free version.
Yeah, we have a free version that we can do, and that will give you 1 day's recording. So 1 day's footage that you can check out events, what's happened for that 1 day, and a few cameras that you can add to it. There's no fees of subscriptions at all. So if you buy a camera from us, don't think that you have to keep a subscription, keep that camera working.
Yeah,
absolutely not the case.
You have the option to record to SD cards. You don't have to go for these cloud options, but these are available, and I think the prices are pretty competitive with the marketplace. Yeah.
If you start using the app now, there is an option, and it's for a limited time only, that you'll be able to take advantage of a trial of the premium version.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and then you'll have that for a year as well. So it's definitely worth being quick.
Yep.
And taking advantage of that free premium trial, because it's really worth it, especially if you're thinking about going on holiday within the next year for a few weeks and you want something to constantly record all the time for you.
And it's probably worth it at the moment as well, because we've got that slight bump in the exchange rate, haven't we, from the now denied Brexit talks. But these prices are all in euros. That's not a mistake. That's how we charge. So at the moment, take advantage of the 1.16 exchange rate and get a little bit of discount on these. So all the options are there. The Pro, you get 30 days. You get 10 cameras. That's probably going to be for a big house kind of thing, but the premium and the basic options are there as well. I think 14 days is a good length of time, isn't it? If you're going away for 2 weeks, all your videos are stored.
Well, even on 1 day, it's still something that you can do.
Yeah,
however, it's nice to have that peace of mind. Again,
it is.
I keep using the word peace of mind, but that's the whole point of smart homes. Right?
Well, that's it, isn't it? And that's the point. You're going away for 2 weeks. You're leaving your home, and you've got this as a backup to check, and you know that if anything does happen, everything's going to be safely stored in the cloud when you get back, and you're going to be able to use that.
So it's not just the app. This is actually my hallway at home. So anyone comes through that door, I will get a notification, come straight to my phone. I can see who's walked in my door. And constantly. Now, the nice thing about the 2802 is that it'll only capture motion capturing. So it's purely based on motion capture, so it doesn't drain the battery all the time. Plus, it does night vision as well.
Yep.
So as soon as it gets dark on the corridor, it will be able to see it still.
Yeah, we had to position Craig's camera away from his safe full of gold bullion, didn't we, to take this picture, because we didn't want to give away the location of that.
So a newer feature of our website for the MyD-Link is that we can now look at the cameras over the website, not just the app. Before it was just the app, but now we can actually use web browser as well. So perfect if you don't have, maybe your phone's dying or something like that, or you're abroad, you don't have 4G.
If you're using your phone, because this is what I always say to people when they talk about, I don't need a mobile 3G or 4G dongle. I've got my phone, I can tether. Well, what if you're on your phone? It doesn't work like that. So if you're one of those people who travels a lot, I always say to people, have a 3G dongle, have a 4G dongle, and keep your phone as a phone. And it's the same with this kind of stuff, isn't it? It's keep your phone as a phone and use this as a backup option. So just as a summary, and just to go over everything that we've talked about. So one of the major advantage is to have your home at your fingertips, which I think is a great phrase. The MyD-Link app allows you to access so much on there, and you can see on the right hand side here, cameras, smart plugs on the app there. They're all accessible. There is the one tap option, which we love here, because that allows you to, well, it's one tap, isn't it?
It is, yeah. More importantly, what it will do is it will override any scheduling that you've done as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, you come home early, maybe you're going home for lunch or something from work, and you want to turn your cameras off because you don't want them recording you all the time. Just one tap. Click. Say that you're at home or away, regardless of what you're doing.
And it's done.
Yeah. Likewise, I think we were talking about the other day, actually, about going home, or maybe you've finished your day, you've got your cameras on recording, maybe you're going out, maybe you're not actually going home, so therefore you won't arrive at that 6:15, whatever time you have.
Override
it. Just turn it on remotely. You know that your house is still protected away.
Yeah. We talked about the forgot to switch off the curling iron, forgot to switch off the heating, forgot to switch off. One of the things that I see as a use for this is someone with a slow cooker potentially could turn their slow cooker on if they wanted. If they had some chili in the slow cooker, and it could be nice and heated up by the time they get back from the train station. Wake up to freshly brewed coffee, or my idea of freshly cooked bacon. Or but it's always nice to have that, and especially for you caffeine addicts, you can just stumble straight into the kitchen and pour yourself a nice cup, steaming cup.
You're on the way home. You live 20 minutes away. You get there, and your house is smelling of coffee. Right?
Indeed. And see all of your cameras, see all of your devices, see everything in the one app. So, smart homes, thumbs up from us.
Thumbs up.
So now we'll move on to the questions. We've got 4 questions in the section.
Oh, okay.
And most of those are Craig. No, then there's no toughies here, Craig. It's all softballs for you. That's
okay.
Good.
Cool.
So somebody asked, what voice commands can you use on the router? So you mentioned that, Craig, didn't you? The Alexa and Google Home.
Yes. So there's a few voice commands that you can use. If you're looking at Google, it would be, okay, Google, tell D-Link Wi-Fi to turn on my guest network.
Excellent.
Okay. So you generally have a separate app for your EXO router as well, which does the Wi-Fi part.
D-Link Wi-Fi app.
Yeah, D-Link Wi-Fi app.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different. But what you'll be able to do is tell it to turn on your guest Wi-Fi, tell it to turn on the credentials. Okay, Google, talk to D-Link Wi-Fi to reboot my router. Okay, Google, talk to D-Link Wi-Fi to upgrade my firmware. So it does firmware upgrades as well, just on the fly.
Brilliant. I need to do a firmware upgrade for mine. I keep getting an alert from the app. So there's a new firmware out for the DIR series. So, what about the cameras, Greg? Would that work with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I do use them as well. Alexa, show me the living room camera on the bedroom TV.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
Why don't I do that?
Well, just remember, you need a Fire Stick to work with that as well.
Okay.
So you have a Fire Stick in your TV, and then you say, show me the living room and show me the outdoors. Who's at my door? So that's generally what you'd use it for. And it pops up on the screen. Someone's rung the doorbell. Show me the camera. Show me camera 1.
I love that. And my last command at night is, Alexa, turn off the lamp as I amble off to bed, and turn off the living room lamp.
Like I say, I constantly, all you'll hear in my house is turn on the heat, turn on the heat, turn on the heat, turn off the heat. What's quite important though is if you've got different plugs, what you can do is you can give things names. So I think in the picture that I showed, I've got one of my cameras as hallway, and I've got one as mine as living room.
Yeah.
And you say, turn off the living room, turn off whatever you want to do. If it's a smart plug,
if it's a lamp,
turn off the heating in the living room.
Yeah,
turn off
living room
the heating
lamp,
in the
bedroom lamp, etc., etc. So
absolutely.
That's okay. How long does the 2802 battery last? Well, that's a contentious question, isn't it?
It is. I can only give you examples of how we really use them and what people use them with. You see, it's going to be different for everybody. You've seen a picture of my hallway. The other camera's literally very close to that one, and it's looking out of the rest of my living room. That camera was in the living room. I charged them up. I can't even remember when I charged them up last. It was easy a couple of months ago.
Sure.
Probably going closer towards 3 months, I think.
Right. Outdoors is going to be slightly less, isn't it? But
it will be. It really depends, again, on how you use it. See, I've got my sensitivity up because nothing moves in the house unless it's going to be a break-in. So I can have the sensitivity up at 100%.
Nice and high.
If you've got a pet, you probably want to reduce it a little bit because the pet's going to be captured and seen. So how it handles is going to be where you put it, what you're looking at. Example, if you put it outdoors and there's trees everywhere, you want to turn the sensitivity down. Just get it right, and it'll save you more battery life in the long
There's another question on batteries, and this is a good one actually. Water sensor.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know when the battery is low? I actually do know the answer to this one.
Yeah. So what's nice is this isn't just for the water sensor. This is for all of the devices on the Smart Range. Is that it can tell you the signal strength that you've got, the Wi-Fi, and the battery that it's got left of it as well.
Yeah, that was on one of the previous slides, wasn't it?
It was, on the
app,
settings. It tells you what power is left, and it'll actually drop you a push notification at 10% for any of the devices you use, and it tells you this is getting low on power.
Brilliant. Okay, that's about all the questions. As usual, we've gone over time. I think we need to start scheduling this as a 45-minute webinar rather than a half an hour, and stop going over time on these.
Maybe we just talk too much. I don't know.
Possibly. Thanks for your question. Hang on one second. We might have one last question that's coming. We want to take care of all of the questions. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make the box bigger. It's not responding for me. Okay, let me try and read this. If you have the free option for cloud storage, you download clips within 24 hours.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yeah. Really good question. So there's an events manager that will have all of your cloud recordings, and it's really important. You don't just have to cloud record. There's an SD slot for some of these cameras as well, so you can record to an SD card too. You can export the event file. So you just go to the captured video footage. You can export it. It'll export to your phone storage. And likewise, if you do things through the My D-Link app as well. Okay.
Brilliant. Okay. I think that's it for all the questions. Now we got through quite a few there. So it just leaves me to briefly sum up everything there. So obviously, you can get all of our smart home products from any good retailer out there. We're not on the payroll of anyone, so we're not going to mention any names in particular. There is a webinar in 2 weeks' time, but for the first time, Craig's not going to be with us because Craig will be in sunnier climes, won't you, Craig?
I will be, yes.
and we'll all be very jealous. But in 2 weeks' time, we've got a webinar on the VIP Plus scheme. It will be myself and sales manager Mark Carty, and a potential appearance from our country manager Paul Routledge. We'll all we'll all be very privileged if Paul can join us for that.
And that's on the
VIP Plus. So right. What we'll be talking about is how it's all of the various parts that you can get from the VIP Plus scheme. And just reminding people that all that stuff's there, because a lot of the time some of the stuff gets forgotten. So we're going to have a real push on VIP Plus in 2020 and get the knowledge there and get some new members and get everyone benefit from our generosity. Right. We do have a couple of spaces left on a training course on the 5th of November, which will be at our head office here in sunny South Ruislip.
It will be, yes. The last one was in Manchester last week.
Big success, Craig, wasn't it?
Really good success. Really great day. Everybody come along, put their thinking caps on, took a little test, and congratulations to those who passed, if anyone's listening now.
We haven't told them yet, have we? Or?
We haven't yet, actually.
We haven't told them yet, but we do have some more certified D-Link, what do we say, D-Link installers?
Yes, DCS trained technicians.
Good to add.
Certified.
Good to add to your CV. Yeah. So that's available. You can go to the website. It's dlink.com/events, or if you just go to dlink.com, the events section is at the bottom of the page there, and you'll see the training sessions. And we will be announcing more webinars and more training sessions coming shortly.
Yeah, come to our office and meet us. You'll actually get to have a play with the equipment.
Yeah,
well, and see what we do.
And Craig will be on the road in 2020, going around the lovely country and meeting the great customers out there. So that'll be good. Okay, thanks thanks very much for everyone who joined us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.